In this video, I will discuss about Java inheritance. So what is Java inheritance? So inheritance allows the software developer to derive a new class from the existing one. So existing class is also called as the parent class or super class or base class. So the derived class is also called as a child class or subclass. As the name implies, the child class inherits the characteristics of the parents. So that is called the child class inherits the methods and the data defined for the parent class. So what is the use of inheritance here? To tailor the derived class, the programmer can add new variables and methods or modify the inherited ones. Software reuse is the part of inheritance. So you can make use of the software here. Reusability is one of the part of the inheritance. So by using the existing software component to create a new ones, we capitalize on all the efforts that went into design, implementation, testing of the existing software. So what is a simple example for inheritance? The car is nothing but a child class and vehicle is a parent class, or you can call it as a vehicle as a base class and car as a derived class. So here all the features of the vehicle are there in the car, and we can show it by the arrow here. So this is called as the UML class diagram. So inheritance should create a easy relationship, meaning that a child is more specific version of the parent. So what is the derived class here? We can see that how to derive the class by using the extends keyword. So class car extends the vehicle. So vehicle is a super class and car is a subclass. So here class car is extending the vehicle and class contents. So these are the class contents that are there in the. So this is a example where you can derive the car is a now child class and vehicle is a parent class. So class contents are there. So protected members. So protected means only the derived class member can access. Public visibility means it is available throughout all the other outside the class also. Protected means only the base class as well as the child class can access. Private members cannot be inherited. So this is an exception where we cannot inherit the private members. So superclass. So constructors are not inherited even though they have public visibilities. Yet often we want to use the parent constructor to set up the parents part of the object. So constructors are not inherited even though they have a public visibilities. So we have a public visibility for the constructor, but they are not inherited. We often want to use the parent constructor to set up the parent part of the object here. The super references can be used to refer to the parent class and often used to invoke the parent constructor. So super reference can be used to refer the parent class and often used to invoke the parents constructor. So we'll see this in the demo. The super reference. So class constructor is responsible for calling the parent constructor. The first line in the child constructor should use the super references to call the parent constructor. The first line of the child constructor must use the super reference to call the parents constructor. The super references can also be used to reference other variable and methods defined in the parent class. So you can make use of a super to refer to the other variables and methods defined in the parent class. So multiple inheritance, Java doesn't support some multiple inheritance, and so what happens if multiple inheritance is allowed? There can be clashes in the names, and Java does not support the multiple inheritance. So in most of the cases, the use of inheritance gives us the aspect of multiple inheritance without the overhead. So most of the cases, the inheritance gives you the aspect of the multiple inheritance without the overhead. So Java supports a single inheritance. Overriding methods. So the child class can override the definition of inherited methods in its own in the favor of its own. So override methods means we have a same method, but that is there in the parent class as well as in the base child class. The same method that is defined both in parent as well as the child. So that is called as overridden methods. So the new method must have same signature as the parent method, but can have a different body. The type of object executing the method determines which version of the method is called. So we whatever the object is holding, that method will be called here. So let us we try to understand in the demo section here the overridden. So the parent method can be invoked explicitly by using the super reference. So you can make use of a super reference once the parent method can be invoked explicitly by using the super reference here. If the method is declared as the final, it cannot be overridden. If you define it as a final, you cannot override that. The concept of overriding can be applied to the data and is called shadowing variables. So can also be applied to the data and is called as a shadowing variable. So you can inherit even the data also. Shadowing variables should be avoided because it tends to cause unnecessarily confusing code. So it should be avoided because of it is causing some confusing code. So what is the difference between overloading and overriding? So overloading means we have a same method but a different signature. The method name is same but the signatures are different. So this is called as the overloading. Overridden means the same method with same signature and same body, but that is defined in the two different classes. One is in parent class as well as one is in the child class. So this is called as the overriding. So overriding lets you to define a similar operation in different ways for the different objects. So overloading lets you to define a similar operation in different ways for the different data. So class hierarchy. So we have a base class over here and we have a derived class. Retail business and service business are the different classes here. And again, this base class is having two derived classes and this is having the Ichnos is a derived class for the service business. So this is how the class hierarchies are there. So we have a base class at the top and we have a derived classes here. The parent of the child forming a class hierarchies. So the two children of the same parent are called siblings here, and inherited members continuously down the line. So this is called as hierarchy. Therefore, child class inherits all of its ancestor class here. So let me go for the object class here. By default, Java has an object class. So that is defined in java.lang, and all classes are derived from the object class. So all these classes are derived from the object class here. So if the class is not explicitly defined to be the child of an existing class, it is assumed to be the child of the object class. So if the class is not explicitly defined to be the child of the existing class, it is assumed to be the child of the object class. Therefore, the object class is the ultimate root of all the class hierarchy. So object at the main, we have at the top we have an object class, and after that object class we have a base class over here. Okay, we have a animal class, we have or you can have some other class also. So the object class is the ultimate root of all the class hierarchies. So the object class contains few useful methods which are inherited by all the class here. For example, the toString method is defined in the object class. So let me see this. What is the toString method? How it is defined? The toString method in the object class is defined to return the string that contains the name of the object class together along with some information. So it has some information regarding the name of the object and other information, the toString method. And equals method is also there, which is used to compare two different objects. If the object references are same, then it is written true or it is going to return false here. So let me try to understand this with the help of a demo. Okay. So I am in Eclipse workspace here. So right now I have a class A and I will define one more class, okay, class B, which will extends A. Okay. So I will define one method, show method, okay, public. So I will say inside show here, okay. Inside A show. So here also I have one more method. So I will call it as inside B show. So you can see that the show is defined in class A and show is also defined in. Now how to call the same method but different body. The body is different but the signatures are same. So these are called as the overridden methods. So this is B is a child class and A is a parent class. So by using extends we can inherit the base class. So in this particular static void admin, I'm going to create A's object here. I will try to call A.show. So the base class show will be called here, not the derived class, because since it is a base class object, it is holding the base class object. Therefore, A's show will be called here. A shows will be called. Suppose say if I say B is equal to new B. So what happens if I going to call B.show here? So ultimately the B show will be called. the B shows will be called here. So in this way, I can call A shows and B shows. Suppose say if I say the B is holding the A here, B is holding the A. It is not possible because we cannot make a derived class to hold the base class object. But here we can do a base class can hold the derived class object. So I can say A dot show here. I can show A dot show. Okay, I can say A dot show. Now what this thing is going to call, which show is going to be called here. So it is going to ultimately going to call the B shows because it is holding the derived class object. A base class can hold the derived class object. In that particular case, the base class, the derived class show will be called here. Okay, so this is how it works. After that, we are going to go for the having multiple inheritance is not supported in the Java here. And also the constructor can be overloaded. So how to overload the constructor here? So I say A and inside A show. So I have the A's constructor over here and I have a B's constructor here. Inside a B show here. Now what I'm going to do is if I create an object of A, so let me remove all these things. One constructor can also be overloaded. Means you can overload and have more than one constructor in the same class. So that is possible. So inside A show, so A shows is going to be called here. So this is works. A is because it is A's object, it is going to call the A's constructor. If I going to call these things, what will happen is like ultimately the A show is going to be called, then the B show is going to be called. So base class, and then it is followed by the derived class. So in this order, it is going to call. Suppose if I call the B's object, if I create a B's object, then this is the order which it is going to be called here. So if I have more than one constructor, so I can like int x, like I'm having constructor can also be overloaded. So I'm going to have one more constructor over here. So here I will say inside A show. So I have x here. Now what I'm going to do is I will try to call this particular constructor. I want to call this constructor. So I will say A. So I will pass 12. So directly you cannot call like this. So make use of a super constructor over here. Super. So I will pass 12. Okay. So now the base class object constructor, this constructor will be called here. Okay. So we are not going to call that particular constructor. Default constructor, that is not going to be called, but parameterized constructor is going to be called because we are making use of a super. If I just make use of a super here, then that default constructor will be called here. Means that what was written at the top inside A show, so that will be called here. So in this way, I'm going to in this way it works. Okay. So one more thing is like if I want to call base class constructor over here, so I can say this, okay, this, and here we can make use of a super 23. So then how it's going to be called? So inside A show 23 like this, you can call here also. You can call the A's constructor will be called here. So this is how it works. Next, coming to the object class. So I will discuss about the object class. So by default, all classes are going to inherit the object class here. So that is going to so by default, all classes is going to extend the object class. So I will say extends object. Okay, I will call object here. So now I will try to say public void, and I will try to overload the string method. So public string toString method. I have some toString method over here, and it is going to display. If I don't overload, so let me check how it works. Okay, so I will remove this. So now I create an object of the A here, and A is equal to new A. So I will try to call system.out.println. I'm going to call the A's object here. So the hash code is going to be displayed here. So okay, some object hash code is going to be displayed. If I'm not overloaded the overridden, I'm not overridden the toString method. If I override the toString method, so I'm saying public string. So toString. So I'm going to override this toString method system.out.println. So hi everyone. So I will say I should return certain things. Okay, rather than this thing, I will say return inside toString. I call inside toString. Then the toString method is going to be called here. Inside toString. So the toString method is going to be called here. I have overridden the method toString. So in this way, I can also call the base class object here. So if I say A1 and A2. So if I say A2, one more reference. If I say A2 is holding A1 here. Okay. Say A2 is holding A1. So now I'm going to call equals method. So A1 dot equals A2. Now it is going to compare these two objects. Okay, and it's going to return true or false, the Boolean value. Okay, so Boolean value is going to be returned. So true. So and I can override this method also. So I will say Boolean. So the method is nothing but the toString. Now it is going to be like equals. Okay, equals. So it is going to return false. I will say false. So instead of true, it is going to write the false because I am overriding this method. So run this. So here I will try to pass the object. So it is going to return the false because I written the false here. So it is going to return the false. So in this way, the toString method and equals method can both be overridden. Okay. So in the upcoming videos, I'll try to discuss about inheritance and other concepts. Okay. Not inheritance, interfaces and abstract classes. Okay.